Compact, lightweight guns like Kel-Tec CMR-30 hold a special place in my heart. I mean, they're so damn handy. The combination of the CMR-30's centrally balanced design, lightweight construction, and extremely light felt recoil, it just feels right. But guns are more than just subjective measurements of ergonomics or the feelings that they invoke. So let's take a closer look at the Kel-Tec CMR-30 and find out if it lives up to the hype. The Kel-Tec CMR-30 is deceptively different from the Kel-Tec PMR-30, from which it is at least partially derived. While it does share the same magazine, it actually operates via direct blowback instead of a locked breech. This is presumably because the added weight of a longer barrel would make it impossible for a low recoil .22 Magnum round to cycle this action properly, especially since the muzzle of the CMR-30 is threaded to 1/2x28 for muzzle devices, including sound suppressors, like my innovative arms Slingshot TI suppressor. Now thankfully, the engineers at Keltec are no fools, and they arrived at the simplest solution possible: direct blowback. And you know what? It works. The CMR-30 runs fantastically with nearly every ammo tested, except for two very specific types of hollow points. Any sort of polymer-tipped explosive varmint round, probably not going to run. It's a little bit too long overall. And additionally, I found that CCI's TNT rounds would have a 65% failure to chamber rate. Now that's not a shortcoming of the design per se, and I'm sure you could probably get a gunsmith to polish your feed ramps to make these feed, but steer clear of these rounds. And if you're going to use it as a home defense weapon, which I don't necessarily recommend, but if you have to, be sure to buy just a single box of your defensive ammo to test in the gun prior to committing it to a home defense role. Thankfully, .22 Win Mag, while not cheap, is fairly inexpensive in the realm of quote-unquote rifle calibers, and this gun's defensive rounds still aren't that expensive. And in my testing, every Full Metal Jacket round ran flawlessly, like a sewing machine. And just like the PMR-30 that it shares magazines with, the CMR-30 takes full advantage of the .22 Magnum's lightweight design and low recoil, meaning the CMR is built from the same lightweight polymer with steel reinforcements and aluminum components. But there's more to this gun than just its method of operation. Despite being a carbine, the CMR-30 handles much more similarly to a handgun than a rifle. This is because the magazine well is integrated into the pistol grip. The advantages of this design include knowing instinctively where the magazine well is and having nearly all the important controls in close proximity to the shooting hand, which means you're not going to have to take your hands off that grip to reload, clear a malfunction, or for that matter to flip it from safe to fire or drop the bolt on a loaded magazine. In practice, this means that weapon manipulation and reloads are very easy, even in poor lighting conditions. It also means that mastering its manual of arms is very, very simple, because the stock keeps the pistol grip exactly where it is, and you can simply rotate it along the Z-axis to slide a new magazine in. Another great aspect of the controls are the ambidextrous charging handle. Although somewhat unconventional in design, both handles offer plenty of purchase for charging the action and are easily accessible for shooters of basically any size, especially considering that the stock can be collapsed to multiple positions to fit basically any shooter. But let's go back to the magazine for a second. If you're wondering why it's called the PMR and CMR-30, the magazine holds, you guessed it, 30 rounds of .22 Win Mag, which is awesome. This means effectively that a shooter with 3 magazines has 90 rounds at their disposal in a quickly reloadable, compact package. The magazines are constructed almost entirely out of polymer, are lightweight, and although they don't seem terribly strong, held up to all the use and abuse I subjected them to across 400 rounds of ammunition fired. But let's get to performance. The accuracy and the reliability of the CMR-30 were excellent, barring those specific types of defensive ammunition. Depending on the ammunition used, the gun was more than capable of producing 2-inch and sub-2-inch groups at 100 yards with my small Primary Arms SLX 3X prismatic sight. It was so accurate that I was using spent 12-gauge shotgun shells as targets at 50 yards and dispatching them with relative ease. I found that this gun is an excellent little gun for backpacking, a survival rifle, a bug-out gun, and it's even a pretty decent home defense weapon. Sure, it doesn't have the terminal efficacy of a larger caliber round like .308 or .223, but it also doesn't suffer from the same over-penetration. Plus, it's lighter, smaller than an AR-15, and can use a stock without a tax stamp. Plus, it's not terribly expensive with an MSRP of $629. Thanks, guys. For AmmoLand TV, I'm Jim Grant. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And by all means, drop a comment below and tell me what your experience has been with the CMR-30. If you think I'm full of it, if you think I'm God's gift to shooters worldwide, or you think, hey, I love this gun, I hate this gun, whatever, leave us a comment. And as always, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Oh, there's no point.
Last shot.